Hello lovely people, it's another Sakino on Sunday video talk. Today I want to talk about forgiving or forgiveness, because this subject, this theme has been with me for a long time, and I have all kinds of diverse argumentations and discussions with friends and colleagues, and I'm reading articles about it, and sometimes I get really upset about the attitudes that people publish in this area. Something like, it's for your own good when you forgive. Well, I'm not sure about that. First of all, I really think that we have to look at different circumstances. For instance, as I am working a lot with family constellations and systemic constellations, very often the issue comes up, should I forgive my parents? And my answer, for what they did to me. And I'm not talking about the good things. I'm talking about abuse, physical, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, severe neglect in childhood, and those kind of things. So there are quite a lot of therapists who look at this issue, therapists and also teachers, who look at this issue by saying, yes, you have to forgive your parents for what they did, because maybe they were traumatized themselves, so they didn't know better, they didn't really know how to act in a better way, to treat you more appropriately. Well, this is something I cannot at all agree to, because I do believe that in the relationship between children and parents, the one who is responsible for any situation is the parent. And that means they are also responsible for their behavior, for their not knowing what to do, for their not working on their own issues and traumata. Well, I was raised Catholic, and there is this big thing that Jesus on the cross was praying to his Father, and he said to his Father, please forgive them because they didn't know what they did. Well, but weren't they responsible for knowing? As adults, are we not responsible for how we are dealing with our not knowing? Are we not responsible for how we run our lives and how we treat others and how we treat ourselves, of course, too? So for parents, I believe that being traumatized themselves can be no excuse for mistreating children. It can be an explanation, yes, but it cannot be an excuse. Because I believe that as adults, especially when we are having children who we are responsible for, and children are dependent on us, they cannot just say, I walk away and just fuck you. They are dependent. And there is a lot of literature and research on the issue of attachment, and that children rather feel bad themselves if they get treated bad, rather than abandoning their attachment relationship to their parents, because they can't. They are dependent. So with this issue, forgiving your parents, I don't believe in it. I do believe that forgiveness is possible when someone has done something bad to somebody else and he truly regrets and makes amends or reparations, make up for what he or she did, then there can be forgiveness. There can be, let's say someone steals something from somebody. Then if the one that's the victim of this theft, if you would say, well, I forgive you for stealing that from me. You don't have to do anything. This doesn't feel right, does it? First of all, it doesn't feel good for the one who says that. And it also doesn't feel good for the one who committed the crime, who stole. Because deep inside, we all have a kind of a sensor, most people, when something is not right. Either something has been done to us that doesn't feel right, or we have done something to somebody else that wasn't right. So if I am the perpetrator or the thief or someone who did something wrong to somebody else, there is also deep inside of me, there is a knowing that I have to repair that I have to, let's say if I stole something, I have to give it back, or I have to give back an equivalent of what I stole. Or if I hurt somebody really deeply, badly, by being really nasty to them, or even committing something very bad to them, there is something inside me that knows I have to say sorry. I have to say, I'm really sorry that I hurt you. I'm really sorry for what I did to you. And I wish I could do something to make it undone. And even do something. And then, in that situation, the other, if I really have made amends, then the other can say, well, now it's over, it's done, and I forgive you. And then there is an equal base of forgiveness. But with parents and children, there never is an equal base, because what has been done in childhood has been done to a person who was completely dependent on the parent. And this cannot be forgiven from the child's side. Now, what I believe in and how I act and how I teach is what you can do as growing up, understanding, yes, I have been hurt very deeply and my parents were responsible for what they did to me. But what I can do is I can let it go. I can work on my own wounds. I can heal my wounds. I can do everything possible to heal what I have suffered. And that, again, is my response to that what happened in the past. So the word responsibility is, I divide it in two parts. The response and the ability to respond appropriately to a situation. So this I am responsible for, in the sense that I am not living my life being a victim and staying a victim until the end of my days. I can do something to heal those wounds and let them go and live my life in the now, in the present, creating my life in the now, in the present. And then there is no need to forgive. On the contrary, then I can face my parents, look at them and say, well, what happened then what you did to me was really, really bad. And it really made me suffer. And I know that you were responsible for doing that to me. And that responsibility I leave now with you. And I am healing my own wounds from that. And from there, we can look into each other's eyes, hopefully, and find a new way of relating. But that is something completely different from forgiving. For me, this issue is so, so important because there is, as I said in the beginning, there is such a diversity in the discussion and all this. I don't even find really a word for it. Sometimes I think it's just esoteric blah 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 or spiritual blah blah. It's let's get over with it and be done with it, and the easiest way is to forgive. And I don't believe in that. I don't believe that that's the easiest way. And I also don't believe that there is an easy way at all. I think that when we hurt each other, when parents hurt the children, or as adults we are hurting another person, it's never an easy thing. And yes, when we hurt another, most of the time we do that because we don't know better and we have been hurt ourselves. But it lies within us, each one of us, to deal with all those wounds, face them, look at them, being willing to process them, and then at some point being able to let them go. So I hope that this little reflection will create some thoughts in you, and I will be very, very happy if you share them with me any way you want, on YouTube, by email, in whichever way you want to talk to me. Have a wonderful start of your new week, and I wish you healing. Bye bye.